Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Love Yourself to Health podcast. I'm super excited to have my good friend and past client, and we've done so much stuff together. This is my friend Lynn. You want to say hi?
Hi, everyone.
So, one of the biggest changes that Lynn has seen in her life since we met each other, even since a little bit before, and honestly, a lot of it's come from working out. Has been an improvement in confidence, and like massively so. So I wanted to get her to tell you guys her story and how she's seen these changes, how it's affected her life and all of that. So yeah, if you wanted to start by, I don't know, like going back to the very, very beginning.
So I joined the gym in February 1st, 2019. I started with a really good friend, and she had convinced me through church. And then there was a couple other girls from church that were going. So we all decided that we are going to join this group at 5:30 in the morning. And so I joined. Basically, the reason I joined is I was starting to notice physical changes in my body, turning in my 40s, couldn't open jars, different things like that. And I thought, I don't want to be that lady that can't be self-sufficient or can't do things on her own, needs her husband or needs someone to help her. I didn't like that feeling. And also just, I wanted to lose weight. I wanted not lose tons of weight, but just lose some fat. And I thought, well, I'll give the gym a try. And I've always wanted to, but was really, really scared. I joined a couple times, but then would like only do a couple months and then leave because I didn't know what I was doing. I was not confident. So this time I decided when I joined, I was doing at least a 1-year commitment. That was going to be the thing. And I was going to have a coach, and I was going to have a group of people to support me. But yeah, I joined the gym, and there were a few people that weren't as very supportive because I was the new girl and older and, not as quick as they were and that kind of stuff. But that didn't deter me. I wasn't there for anyone else but myself. I wanted to make changes in my life. And so it didn't matter what they thought about me. And I just just did what I could do. So if the coach said do 10 push-ups and I got 2, I was happy with that because I got 2. That's 2 more than I would have gotten if I had stayed in bed, kind of a thing. So just started working out and wasn't really noticing a lot of changes at first because I was just trying to learn the movements and focus on really not getting hurt. I was so scared at my age of getting hurt and then having to quit the gym because I'm hurt, or having to start over again. I didn't want to start over. Once I started, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, this is not a once a month thing, or it's a life long thing. I wanted to make a life choice. So I started really seeing changes when you came in the spring, but then you were kind of part-time. But in the fall, you came on as a full-time trainer, and you really started catching my self-doubt and my self harm, really. I'd be like, oh, I'm just so stupid, or I can't do this, and not, just bad talking myself. I didn't need any other girls or anyone else to do it. I did it all on my own. And I started to you started to like hold me accountable for what I was saying. You're like, no, Lynn, love yourself, like be nice to yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't know how to be nice to myself. I could be nice to everybody else, but I didn't know how to be kind to myself. All I saw was my flaws. And so you were in my head. And so I would say something like, oh, I'm so stupid. And then I'd be like, oh, nope, no, I'm not. And I do like this self-correction. So I worked really with you for 2 years, and then COVID hit and we kind of hit and miss, and I had to kind of do it on my own. And that was really hard because I didn't have the people in my group to keep me accountable. I had to be accountable to myself. And I remember my husband saying, well, just quit the gym and just work out at home. Like, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. No, it's my social group, and it's my accountability group. And I know if I don't show up in the morning, they're going to harass me the next day in a good way, in a loving way. So I couldn't just leave it. I needed to try and I felt like I needed that. It was kind of like my crutch, you put the training wheels on the bike and you're riding your bike, but someone wants to take those training wheels away and you're like, no, you can't, I'm not ready for that. It was kind of like that. But then when everything happened, I decided to just try it on my own. Like I would go to the gym and there was no classes, but I would start working out on my own. And some of the group that I worked out with would show up at the same time and we'd all just work out together. And, and that was fun too. But definitely I had you in my head whenever I was thinking bad thoughts or or something like that. But you gave me so much confidence. And then a few people wanted to do the half marathon, the 10K, and they wanted me to like be kind of the leader, and you kind of pushed me into that role as well. And so I did, and we did, a bunch of us did 10K and 2 of us did a half marathon. One girl, it was her first time ever to do a half marathon and she did fantastic in her Converse. Still makes me laugh that you guys ran in Converse, but okay. I remember crossing the finish line and everybody wasn't expecting me yet because I was still not supposed to cross that finish line for like another 2 minutes. So nobody was waiting at the finish line for me. And I crossed the finish line. And even though there's no one there to cheer me on, I was so incredibly proud of myself because I had beat my time that I had set for myself by like 2 minutes. And my time before that of my half marathon was like 10 minutes like later. So I had beat my time by 12 minutes. And I was just shocked and I was so happy and I just celebrated myself. Before I would have been like, oh, nobody, but I didn't care. Because I wasn't doing it for anyone else. I was doing it for me. And if I learned anything through your positive attitude and just your encouragement and being nice to myself, was that it's okay to be nice to ourselves as women. As women, we're taught that you put each other down, or you won't put each other down, but you'll put yourself down. Even sometimes just to make someone else feel better about themselves. And we don't have to do that. We can be confident women. I've never been, I wish I knew what I know now 20 years ago, because I probably have been a better mom, have been a better, not saying that I wasn't a good mom and a better wife, and I was a good wife, but I could have been better because I would have been confident, and maybe I could have given that confidence to my children and the other people that have said to me, oh, you've motivated me to start working out, or you've motivated me to to make changes and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my story, I think. Short and sweet.
It's just, I don't know, it's like you've even commented on, like, I know we were on a walk last week, and you were saying how somebody had seen you more recently who hadn't seen you in a long time, and even they commented on how you are basically a completely different person now.
Yeah, like just you run into people and you start chatting with them and they're like, man, like you're so different. Like the last time I saw you, you were just kind of quiet and shy, and you weren't very talkative, and now you're just outgoing and you're confident. And she's like, what changed? And I said, well, I started working out and I started working on me. And I said, I had great support. I had you and I had Joanna and I had other women and other people in my life that were holding me up and holding me accountable for what I was saying about myself. And I appreciate that because I am a different person in a good way. I love myself. Whether I have the perfect body or not, I don't care anymore. I'm happy. And I get up in the morning and I do my workout and I feel strong, which helps me to feel confident, I think. So
yeah. And and now you have your own gym in your house, and you're always putting videos of yourself on Facebook and
yes, Instagram. I would have never done that like 2 years ago. I would have never done it. But I am.
And you lift heavy. You're strong. And you're always proud of yourself too.
Yeah, whenever I achieve like a weight, I want to put on Instagram and be proud, and not for myself, but I have other women who are in their 40s and 50s who are seeing this and are making the same changes, not going on diet after diet after diet, but focusing on getting strong and feeling healthy. And, I even have my wonderful sister-in-law. She's like, she thinks the same way as me. Like, why didn't we do this years ago? And, you know, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your age. I didn't think I could do a lot of these things. I remember the first month of being in the gym and looking at some of these young ladies. I mean, they were younger. They were in their upper 20s, lower 30s. So to me, they're young.
That's
and
young, yes.
yeah, exactly. And they are like lifting, like now it's not that much.
You live way more than them now.
It's like 65 pounds. I remember like them just doing a squat with 65 pounds on the back, and you just like, how? And I remember saying to myself, I'll never do that. Like, there's no way, I'll hurt myself. And even you knew, like, I'd always say to you, I'm not lifting heavy because I don't want to hurt myself. Because I didn't want to, we had some people in our group that would hurt themselves and then have to take like 2-3 weeks off and then come back. And I didn't want to, I was so scared that if I got out of that routine, then I wouldn't be able to get back in, because it's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how hard it was to start. It was really hard for me. It was hard on my self-esteem. It was hard on my body. Oh, my body hurts so bad. Like the third day, the Wednesday. So I would work out Monday to Friday every morning from like 5:30 to 7. And the first Wednesday I got out of bed and I fell, and I was like, okay, I can't go today because my legs don't work. Like, I went to go get changed and go use the washroom. I was like, no. So I went right back to bed, but I did on the Thursday. And I think if I hadn't gotten up and gone Thursday and Friday, I probably wouldn't have, it would have been really hard for me to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But I also knew that my friend had joined at the same time as me, and I wanted her to be successful and me to be successful, and we held each other accountable. So yeah, it's so weird to think of myself back then and what I thought. Like, I remember walking in and saying to like the coach and being like, I don't want to be really muscular. I just want to lose some fat. I don't want to be too bulky and I don't want to be one of those girls.
And who's proud of her muscles now?
Me. Because I worked hard for those muscles.
Yes.
So, but no, I mean, it doesn't matter our age. And if anyone's out there and they're in their 40s or 50s or 60s, I mean, there's that girl that we watch on Instagram and she's like 60. What is she? 66?
No, she's like 70s.
Oh yeah, she's in her 70s, 73.
70
Yeah. And she started at 70.
Yeah.
She started working out 70 years old. And she's like muscular and like not in a not grotesque way, like natural muscle and healthy and loves life. And
she's so sweet.
She is.
Her life has completely changed.
It has. Yeah. And so is mine.
Yeah.
Mine has so really changed. Like, I don't let people push me around anymore. I don't. I mean, I am confident in who I am and who God made me and who I represent as myself. I don't know how to say that, but I love who I am. And I love motivating other women to do the same, because I don't think we're taught that in school or in society, or that being strong is sexy. Like, it's great. It's, and I'm not just saying this for my physical health, because my physical health has changed, like my body has changed, but my mental health and the way I think of myself or think of others, and my energy, like I have more energy. There's nights where I'm cleaning and my husband's watching TV. He's like, just sit and watch it. I'm like, I need to get this done. So I'm doing it. And he's like, okay. But it when you start working out, you think, okay, I want to lose some fat, or I want to lose this, or I want to lose that. But there's way more to it than that. And, if I can help one woman in her 40s or 50s start this journey, then I feel like I've accomplished more than I can ever ask, because honestly, it'll change your life. It will.
Mhm.
It will. It
It's
changed
yeah.
mine.
It's
The
the best feeling ever.
you've seen me. Like
Yeah.
you saw how timid and scared I was. Every time you give me a new thing to do, I'd be like,
Like box
where's the
jumps.
5-pound weight?
I remember when you said you'd never be able to do box jumps or you'd never be able to do a handstand, and here you are. Like, I remember one of your training programs, we programmed in handstands for like 30 seconds and whatever, and you were
Mhm.
just doing them.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
actually
like,
could do it for a minute. I got to
Yeah.
a minute, which was like crazy. And even with a bad shoulder. So don't let old injuries scare you, because I was in a bad accident. I have a really bad shoulder back muscle issues, tore a bunch of things. But I did everything slowly. And
Mhm.
that's key, is finding a trainer like Alyssa who's going to know your weaknesses and work with you to make them your strengths. Because now I'm stronger and I don't have pain. I had what do you call that pain when you have it all the time? Chronic pain.
Mhm.
I was in chronic pain for 7 years before I started working out. Chronic, like it was always hurting, it was always there. Some days were worse than others, and I started working out and it hurt. I'm not even exaggerating, probably for 3 months. Even my husband was like, are you ever not gonna hurt anymore? Because I'd be coming getting up in the morning, oh, I'm hurting. He's like, you've been doing this for 3 months, you should be not hurting anymore. And I'm like, I don't know, it's just my body's taking its, this is all new.
Mhm.
And but to look now and go, my very first time, I couldn't even pick up the bar, the 45-pound bar, and do a squat with it. I had to go into the women's section and get this little 25-pound bar to do a squat or to do anything. Like I couldn't lift anything, and I started with the little 5-pound weights, and yeah, now I do a lot.
Yeah, you very much do. Mhm.
I never thought I could lift my own body weight, and now I'm past that. I can lift more than my body weight. So
I'm trying to convince her to do a powerlifting competition.
I
So
know
help me
you
with that.
are. I know you are. I will one day, maybe next year.
It's in August.
I know. I saw that. It just August is such a busy month for me, because I know.
Mhm.
I know June and August, they're my hard months, but I'll think about it. I saw you on Instagram. I was like, no. I answered your question very clearly. She's always pushing me out of my comfort zone.
That's the key. Even now,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
you never get to the point where you're done,
No.
right? You
no.
always can continue to push yourself and continue
To
growing.
grow.
Yeah.
No matter what age. Like,
Mhm.
I've heard so many people, oh, after 40, it's downhill. After 50, it's downhill. But I feel like I'm like only halfway up the hill. So it's not downhill for me.
You
And
have so much more you can still do.
oh, so
Like
much.
seeing the amount of change you've had in just like 3 years,
Yeah.
like you're barely halfway through your life. Like
know.
in just 3 years, you could do so much. Imagine what you can do in the next like 50.
I know. I'll be like that 98-year-old jumping out of airplanes or something. Bungee cord jumping.
I'll be with you.
Not yet. I'm not there yet.
We'll work our way up.
We'll work our way to there one day.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I can't believe the changes that I see in myself every day. And it's not just the physical.
Yeah.
There's so many women out there my age struggling with the mental abuse that we've allowed in our life, or we've created in our life.
Yeah.
Or we've had in our life. And who knew lifting weights can,
Right?
who knew that can be something that can pull you out of that darkness?
Yeah. It's crazy how much of a difference that makes. Like every woman I've introduced to lifting heavy, like it's crazy how much it changes how you think about yourself. Because you're like, every week you're getting stronger and you're seeing like maybe I can actually be capable of doing things.
Well, and it could be something small, It could be a box jump, which is now just so small to me.
But that
But
first box jump.
That first, I was like, you want me to stand, not run, and jump on that thing? No, that's not happening. I'm gonna rip my shins open. It's all gonna be bloody everywhere. It's not happening. Oh, yes, it is when you're gonna do it. Oh, no, I don't think so. And then you made me do it. And I did it. And I celebrated. I am not a quiet celebrator when I achieve things.
Yeah, there's been a few times in class where I hear you yelling in the corner. I'm like, is everything okay? And I'm like, no, you just did something you didn't think you were gonna do.
Or lifted something I didn't think I could lift, or
Yeah.
because I think we as women haven't been taught to celebrate our achievements. It's
Pride
easy,
is a bad thing. We've
Yes,
been taught, which is
yeah.
insane.
which is bad because it's okay for us to, clap and be happy for someone else. We need to learn to do it for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that I'm learning this in my 40s because it's something every woman, whether you're 5 or you're 100, we should be able to celebrate ourselves. And
Yes.
when I started the gym, I was really struggling with some depression because of the pain. Like the depression was associated with the pain. And I remember just like it had been about 6 months. Everything takes me longer to like learn and do. But it was around the 6th month where I felt like I remember getting up in the morning, coming to the gym, doing my workout, and I was leaving and I was like, I'm so happy today. So sorry, there's a helicopter around
Oh
here
goodness.
somewhere.
We're outside because it's beautiful.
But if I can encourage women who are struggling with depression, anxiety, self-doubt, just want to get stronger, she's your girl. She really is. You were so patient with me, and you were so tolerant of my self-doubt, but you never made me feel bad about it. You'd be like, Lynn, what do I say?
Excuse me, Lynn?
Excuse me?
What do we say?
What do we say? Yes, that is exactly the wording you would do. And so for me, though, I still hear that in my head. Actually, I hardly hear it anymore, to be honest. If I'm going to be honest, the last like 3 or 4 months, because I've been working out at home by myself for almost a year now, I've learned to be able to just, I don't hear it. It doesn't happen. Like I'm just thinking about it now. I don't hear myself saying, oh, you're dumb, or I don't do that anymore.
It's
I just
become your
lived.
habit now. Yeah. You've retrained your brain.
I've retrained
like literally.
it. Yeah. And so, and people are noticing, people that I haven't seen in a while, or they're just like, hey, like, way to go. And so we have friends that we have in the Kootenays, and they started working out about a year ago. They hired a trainer out there, and they've been working out. And they were motivated because 3 years ago, when we started to go down there and visit them, I couldn't keep up with them. They would go for hikes, and then they want to go canoeing, and they want to do this. There's no way I could keep up. And then 2 years ago, we went out there, and I did everything. I was the one waking everybody up and going, we're going for a run this morning. Let's go. And then, so even though we went for a run, and then we went hiking, and then we went canoeing after that, and then we had a picnic, like we had a full day. But it's just great to be the one motivating and not being the one dreading that I have to get up and go do these things. Not because I don't like doing them, but because I know I'm going to be hurting or tired or not be able to keep up. So it's huge.
It really is. Like,
it really is.
It's again so crazy the difference. Like I bet you couldn't even have imagined this for yourself.
Never in a million years did I think that I would feel this way about myself, be able to lift the weight that I lift, and be able to talk on a podcast.
That's another thing. You're so confident just even talking.
It's scary.
I'm barely doing anything.
I'm not even scared, but it's scary to think that I'm like doing a podcast with you because, and it's just it feels good.
It's so natural.
Feels good. It feels good to be able to encourage people through your own story. And that's how we should live, is through our story. We
Mhm.
all have a story and we all have a story to tell, but a lot of
Mhm.
us don't have the confidence to tell that story.
Yeah,
So for me, I'm confident now to tell my story. And I love it. I love who I am.
I do too.
And if others don't, well, that's okay. I do. I love myself. Before that would bother me. If one person didn't like me, it would bother me. And now, because I'd be like, well, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? How did I hurt their feelings? And
It doesn't matter. It's just, do I like me? Yeah, sweet.
yeah, yeah. And I think I draw more people in by being that person. I
Mhm.
think we lose people when we aren't confident in ourselves as women. We lose friendships.
Yeah. Well, and then we also gain friendships of people who are also confident.
Yes.
And then that energy starts to bring up our energy. And the
Yeah.
more we surround ourselves with people who are similar to how we want to be,
Yeah.
we will become more like that too, because that's what we see all the time.
Exactly. And the people that aren't feeling good about them or about themselves will be drawn to us too.
Mhm.
And
Because they're like, how are you doing that?
yeah,
I would like to learn from you.
especially people who knew me before and now know and now
Yeah.
see me and they're
Because they
like,
can see it's possible. Because so
well,
many people don't even think it's possible for themselves.
no. And it's not just like I needed that group and I needed the gym. There, everything comes with a time.
Mhm.
And I needed that. That was my time. And now I can do it on my own. And I can say to people, no, I don't want to do that, but I'll do this or I'll try this or I'll do, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not that time for me or it's not the, yeah, it's not for me.
So when you were like, how, because you've tried to do this before many times. So what do you think the difference was that made it stick like this time around?
I think one of the biggest things was my commitment.
Mm-hmm.
I was committed for that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was addicted.
Yeah, that happens.
You know what? I think for me, I fear, because if I stopped, then I would have to start over again.
That
And
was
I
a big
didn't,
thing you said a lot.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I never ever want to have to go back to where I was and start from where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the biggest thing. And two would be being consistent.
Yeah.
And at first, the first 2 years, 2.5 years, it was 5 days a week commitment for me.
Yeah.
It really was. It's only been in the last, since I started my own gym at home, like my own setup at home, which was that September 1st of 2021 is when I started my home gym. And having to figure out my own plan and figure out what works for me and what doesn't work for me. Then it's only been probably the last 5 or 6 months that I've gone down to just 3 days a week of like weightlifting. And I've just learned that I need to let my body recover more. And whereas when I was at the gym, we would do like heavy lifting kind of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we would do like a HIIT class Tuesday, Thursday. So it was different.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to do like 4 to 5 days a week of heavy lifting, and my body wasn't recovering, and I was getting tired, and I couldn't lift heavier. But if you give that day rest, it makes a big difference. It really does. Yeah. I've noticed a big difference in just being able to do things. And every time, every week, it doesn't matter how small, whether it's 2.5 pounds or 2 pounds heavier. It's motivating and it's gratifying, and you're proud of yourself. Oh, I was able to lift 2 pounds heavier. 2 pounds isn't a lot, but it is when you add it to like 165 pounds. Do you know what I mean? Like it all adds up.
And when you hit those certain goals, like squatting your body weight, or I know every woman always seems to have the goal of like bench pressing 100 pounds. That's like such a, like, we see that number and we're like, I want to do that.
Yes, because we're told we can't.
Yeah.
We really are, like lifting 2 milk jugs. Oh, do you need help with that? Or it was actually really
My grandma
funny.
still does that to
It
me.
It was really funny. I was at a professional development day for teachers and CAs and stuff. And one of the husbands gave his wife a box and she said, oh, can you carry this? It's pretty heavy. And she's older than me. And she started working out probably a year before I did. She joined like the YMCA or something like that. And she comes over to me and she looks at me and she goes, my husband, I won't say his name, my husband gave me this box and was like, oh, be careful. It might be a little too heavy. He goes, does he not realize us women, we can lift? And she was so funny. And she's like, I'm trying not to take offense to that.
Like, did you not carry a baby on your hip for like a couple of years?
For a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't carry a box.
I know. And then she gives it, she goes, is it heavy? And I'm like, oh no, I carry way heavy. I'm like, when I come in with groceries from Costco, that's heavy.
Every single bag.
Yeah.
On my arms. We're doing one trip.
One trip. We're doing it one trip. How many women
Always.
do we know that do that? I couldn't do that, 10 years ago, but now
Yeah.
I can.
Now we get like offended if people try to like help us. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I can lift on myself. Thank you very much.
Actually, I have been in the Costco parking lot and I've seen some older women or older people, even older guys, and they've got like this big thing that they're trying to lift, like the potting soil bags. They're really heavy. They're like 50 pounds, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
a bag. And there was this older gentleman, he's trying to get it in there or whatever. And so I walked over and I'm like, do you want help with that? And he kind of looked at me like, you? And I'm like, here, let me help. And I just kind of lifted it and put it in. He's like, you're a very strong lady.
Mhm.
I said,
Yes, you are.
I am. Have a
you
great
learned
day.
that?
Have a great day. Yes, I learned that, because that's another thing I struggled with, was when you would give me or someone would give me
A compliment.
a compliment. I'd be like, oh, no, it's whatever. Like, well, I
Mhm.
can't even remember what I used to say. I used to be like,
Oh no, I'm not.
oh no, I'm not. Oh yeah, you'd be like, oh, you're so strong today, Lynn. I'm like, no, I'm not. And you're like,
And you're like, I barely lifted this much. Like I didn't even lift this much. I'm like, excuse me. You are strong, Lynn.
and I'd be like, yes, I'm very strong. I'm very strong. She's
Yes,
very
thank you.
scary when she's. I forgot about that. Yeah.
The one that stands out to me is when I called you an athlete.
Oh yeah, I cried. I did. I cried. Like you said, you were like, Lynn, you're an athlete, and I actually went home and like I think on the way home I cried because think of yourself at that. And at the time I think I was like 44, 45, something like that. I was a year or two younger than I am now. And yeah, I remember you were like, you're such an athlete. And I was like, you just what? Huh? Like I think I was in shock.
You very much
But
were. Yeah.
that was probably one of the biggest compliments I've ever had. And you'd think it'd be like, oh, you're so skinny or you're so beautiful. But no, I think the best compliment I've ever had is you're an athlete. And I remember posting it even on Instagram that I was an athlete, and I mulled that over for a long time.
You had to re-identify yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a teacher, you're all these things. But I remember looking at you just in shock and being like, I'm an athlete? Like, what?
Mhm.
How can that be?
Yeah,
At my age.
you are an athlete.
I know I am. And I wear that very proudly
Mhm.
because I
You
worked
earned
hard.
that.
I worked really hard.
Yeah.
5 days a week at the gym, an hour and a half. And I'd show up even a half.
Early.
I would
Yeah.
show up at 4:30 so that I could get like a walk or a run in before my
Yes.
workout.
You'd come in and you already have gone for a run.
I know. And everybody would be like, we're just finishing our coffee here. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I took it seriously,
Mhm.
especially when I started seeing the changes. And ladies, it wasn't the physical changes, because it took a long time for me to physically change my body. And I'd get, I don't go on the scale anymore, but I would get on the scale every week and be like, oh, I didn't lose anything. And it was really hard mentally on me. Like, I don't even like going near the scale now. not because the reason I don't is because the number doesn't matter anymore.
Yep. It holds no value.
It holds nothing on me, because my value is I lifted that today.
Mhm.
Like this morning, I did 3 rounds of 10 reps of 75-pound bench press. That's a lot of weight. Doesn't sound like a lot, I know you men, but for women, that's a lot to do 10 and
Yeah.
do 3 sets of that. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
It is. And last week was the first time I did it, or no, Monday was the first time I did that, where I did 10 in a row at that weight. And I was just like celebrating. I posted on Instagram because I was proud of myself.
And even like 3 years later, you're still having those wins happening, which is such a cool part of weightlifting, because
Yes.
it never stops.
No.
You can always continue improving.
Or learn something new.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's a hard part for me. I want to do it all.
with the new programming that I'm doing, there's a new thing on there that I'd never done before. It was a new, and I had to watch YouTube videos and watch my form and all that. And yeah, I enjoy it now, which is weird.
You
Weird,
enjoy
'cause
learning
I
new
didn't,
things. And
no, but I
challenging
didn't
yourself.
like that exercise, but now I actually kind of like it, kind of. Not 100% yet, but I'm working on it. But
Yeah.
but no, even in the last, I would say in the last 2 months, 3 months, I don't wake up anymore going, "Ugh, I have to go work out," because I have a program now. I wake up going, got to get my walk in. I still do my walk before I do my workout in the morning. So I still get up early. I get to sleep in about a half hour more, 20 minutes, because I don't have to drive to Kelowna. But I get up, I go for my walk or my run, and then I do my workout. Sometimes if I don't feel like, if I want to have my coffee instead, I'll sit and have coffee, and then after work, I'll do my workout. But I am very strict about 3 days a week. And if I leave it till the end of the week, I have 3 days in a row I have to do, which I don't like, because then you tire muscles and you can't lift as much. But I make myself do it.
Yeah.
Because that's my commitment for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Commitment's a
So,
big thing. When
it
you
is.
make that commitment to yourself and you hold true on it, I
Mhm.
feel like that is such a confidence booster, because you're like, I said I would do it and I did it.
Yeah. And another thing too, that I had to, as a woman, get my head around is I was worth it.
Yeah.
I remember one day I was like sitting in the gym, and we had just done like a hit, and I was sweating, and I beat the boys.
Yeah, you did.
I beat the boys, which I never beat the boys. And I remember at the end of that workout thinking, driving home, and I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. Blah, blah. And I'm like, I actually talked to myself like that afterwards. And I remember thinking to myself, and I was quiet, and I was kind of talking to God and talking to myself. And I remember hearing like, but you're worth it. And we think that we have to put everybody and everything else before us, especially as moms. And we don't. Because if we don't take care of us and we get sick, like I did, not sick, but physically injured, how can I do the best job I can do as a mom? And so if I had done this when my kids were younger, that's why I think I would be a better mom, because I would be more confident, and I would have probably given my kids that confidence, and I would have been able to do things. But I also don't live in the past, and I don't live with a guilt. I can say that without guilt, because I did the best I could, and now I'm doing the best I can.
And you can make that change for other people now too.
Yes. Yeah. Because, I made all the excuses as a mom, like it's too busy, too tired. And I was busy and tired, and I worked full time and blah, blah, blah. But if I would have known, I think if I would have known and realized 10, 15 years ago that the gym was open that early in the morning, I would have probably started sooner.
Yeah.
And that if I would have known that I could do like a group with a trainer and get the support I had, like you honestly gave us, every athlete, support. And I know every athlete appreciates you, because because we learned so much. We learned little tweaks can go a long way. You'd come in and you'd see me there. Nobody else is there. I'm there early, and I'm doing my mobility, or I'm doing, and you'd be like, hey, do you want to try this? Or I'd stay afterwards, everybody would leave, and you'd be like, hey, I noticed your hip flexors, want to try this? And you helped me, even though you didn't have to. You could have left and not said anything, but
Wha-
but
what?
that's not you. But that's
No.
not you. So, but I do that for others now. I can do that for others,
Yeah.
and I have.
Like that one young girl that you were telling me about.
Oh yeah,
You have so many good
I
stories.
do. I had a teenager in my house, and she wanted to work out with me, and so we went down in my gym. They were staying for the weekend, and she's like, Lynn, she's like, I can't squat because it hurts my back. She had back issues. I said, okay. And I have a PVC pipe that I do my warm-ups with. And I gave her the PVC pipe, and I'm like, just do a squat. I want to see what you're doing. And she puts her legs way out, like completely wrong form. And she goes halfway. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that would hurt. That would hurt my back. I said, let's try this. And so I corrected her form a little. And I got that from you, also from, the WGA coaching program that I took a couple courses in. And and so I just kind of coached her through it, and she was able to do it with the PVC. So I said, well, let's try it with just the bar. So she puts the bar, and she's like, put more weight on it, put more, and then like she's squatting 95 pounds with no pain, just from me showing her. And then because all she could do was like dumbbell work and bench press. That's all she could do. And she's like, and I said, well, let's try deadlifting. She goes, well, I can't deadlift it. My back hurts. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the PVC pipe. Let's see what, like, yeah, no, my back would hurt too if I was doing it like that. And we did some practices where we put the PVC pipe in our back and made sure her back was in the right form. And then I gave her just like the PVC pipe. And then we moved to just the bar with like 5 pounds on each side. And then she was deadlifting. Yeah, I got her deadlift like 65 pounds before she left. So it was pretty awesome to see this 15-year-old learning from me.
Yes.
And she went home and she's like, I can't wait to go home and show my friends at the gym that I can do these things. And
Yes.
so yeah, I have
That's so
to check in on her and see how she's doing with that.
Yeah.
So,
We get stuck in that mindset of like, I can't.
yeah.
Instead of what can I change
Mhm.
so that I can.
Mhm. And her parents were upstairs, and the screaming that we were doing, like in celebration, she was louder than me. She was louder than me. So you can imagine how loud it was. And they're all having coffee and breakfast, and we're screaming our heads off because she's able to do a squat, or able to deadlift something, and she's jumping up and down, and we're high-fiving each other. And it was so fun. I would love to do more stuff like that.
That's one of my favorite things, is just like being in person with people and seeing them have that realization that they can do something.
Mhm.
And the excitement that comes from that
Mhm.
is just amazing. Like anytime I work out with my friends, they're usually getting a record because
Yes,
we're just
because
like-
you push us. Like
Yeah.
that time I did the deadlift, I was like, what? You want me? No, I'm not doing that.
How much more was that than you did before? It was like 30 pounds or something crazy.
Yeah, my biggest was 175-pound deadlift, and you had me do 205.
And you didn't do it. And then I was like, we're doing it again.
Yeah, I quit. I was like, no, yeah, I can't get it off the ground. And you're like, okay, well, take a break. You got 2 minutes, and then you're doing it
We
again.
took a pre-workout like gummy.
Yeah, a pre-workout gummy. Yeah,
We're doing it again.
we did it again.
And
I
you
did
did
it. I
it.
was like, okay, I better do it because she's gonna keep making me do it until I can actually do it. But I kept breaking records because we just were putting like 5 or 10 pounds on every time.
Yeah.
So it was.
And it was all looking easy. And I was like, well, obviously you can do more. So,
Mhm. That was really fun. I haven't tried that weight since, but I probably should.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot for 10 to 12 reps. So I'm pretty
Mm.
sure I can.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So fun.
It is.
Ugh.
It is.
Who would have thunk?
Not me, honestly, but now I want to see more and more women achieve what I've achieved, and not how much weight I'm doing, but my confidence and my ability in myself, and just being happy with myself.
Yeah.
I think if more women felt this way, we would have a lot less mental health issues. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah. And diet culture.
Yes. Yeah.
The diet companies would not be making as much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. No, and to be honest, I haven't changed a lot of my eating habits or anything like that, but I lost a lot of, not weight. I'm probably the same weight now as when I started 3.5 years. I did kind of fluctuate a little bit. But I am the same weight probably that I was then, but I'm a lot smaller because I don't have the as much fat.
Mhm. And
So,
that's something that you kind of, it takes a while to come to terms with.
and it takes a while for women our age for it to actually start, for us to start noticing it. If I
Mhm.
can encourage anyone who's just starting out, take a before picture. I never took a
Mhm.
before picture when I was bigger. And I wish I had, because then I could really, like, for you, it's not for anyone else to see, but for you to see your progress
Mhm.
is important. But I didn't learn that until about the second year of working out. So I'd already lost quite a bit of my weight, and not weight, but like my sizing and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I dropped 6 sizes in weight, but
Yeah.
I'm still the same weight as I was
Yeah.
4 years ago.
It's
So
wild. It's like every client I have, we do progress pictures either like weekly, every 2 weeks,
Mhm.
every month. And every month I'll send them comparisons, just be like, look at the changes. And a lot of times they won't see it.
yeah,
And usually it's like 3-4 months where they start to see
Yeah.
the changes. I see the changes earlier, but it's so hard to grasp that for yourself because you're so used to seeing yourself in a certain way and
Mhm.
usually critiquing yourself
Well,
too.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like when I remember the first time I did it, you don't look at what you've progressed in your pictures. You look at, oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, no, I don't, yeah. And you see the bad. You're not looking for the good in ourselves. And that's something else I learned is if I take a picture of myself, I really try. It's still something I work on. It's still something I struggle with. I try not to critique myself. Even if I got my face all crazy, I still try to look at something positive from that picture, a memory, someone else in the picture that means something to me, or yeah, yeah. So it's weird to think working out with weights can change something that has nothing to do with working out with weights.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you can't understand it until you do it.
until you experience it
Yeah.
for yourself.
And it won't happen necessarily the first time you work out.
No.
Some people it does, like
No.
me, but
No, it didn't work for me. No, it took
takes
me
a
a
while.
lot of years to, yeah. I mean, and even now, like, even though I work out by myself, I still can make those positive changes about myself, thinking about myself or doing for myself. And I still hear you in my head going, just try 5 pounds more.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. You can do this. I know you can.
I wouldn't like towards the end, I wouldn't even say anything. I would just come over and just put new weights on. And you'd be like, really? Yeah, you're doing more.
And I would never question you anymore because I knew if I questioned you, you'd be like, just give me the same answer. So there was no point in asking, why are you doing that?
Because it looked too easy.
But for a long time, I remember when you first started doing, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to hurt myself. Like I was so fearful of hurting myself. Yeah.
You can tell. And I'm like, I wouldn't have done that if you didn't have good form. Like obviously we
That's
work
what
on your
you'd
form
say to me.
first. Yeah, I'd be like, if you were doing this bad, I would not be letting you put on more weight.
Yeah.
It was a lot of trust between the two of us.
Yeah.
And then once you trusted me, then you started to learn how to trust yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And push myself. I didn't need someone else to push me anymore. I could push myself. And I remember figuring out when I bought all my gym equipment, how many months of my gym membership and how many months of driving to the gym and back with my gas and all that. I had figured kind of mathematically out how long it would take for me to pay it off, so that if in that time, once I get to that time, the gyms were to open up properly and everything would start up again, I could just jump back into the gym and not feel guilty for buying all that equipment. And yeah, I'm past that date now. And yeah,
It's nice having a gym at home though.
it is.
You have a really good gym. And like I've worked out in her gym
Mhm,
and we've worked out outside, which
mhm.
is so
I did that this
nice.
morning.
Ugh.
It was nice and sunny and I took all my weights outside, and yeah. Sometimes my neighbors are like, what is she doing up there? But
Well, and then you have way less excuses. It saves you so much on commuting time, and
Mhm.
you're basically getting time back.
I am. I'm
doing
getting
that.
time and money because now at this point in time, all of my gym equipment is paid for.
Mhm.
If I had kept going to the gym and doing the programming and all that kind of stuff, and my gas, especially with the gas prices right now, everything has been paid for. So now I'm doing it for free.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for free and it's my own equipment. I don't have to worry about germs or anything like that. I can just do my workout and clean up. And I'm a little OCD. When we were at the gym, I liked coming in and all the equipment being in the right. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
There was a couple of us that did
The
this.
numbers are still on there.
Yeah, we would put the numbers so that people knew what pound goes where, and we liked having things organized because it makes it easier to grab your stuff and do your workout. And now my gym is always like that because my husband and I are the only ones. Well, or when you come or other people have come and worked out with me, but people, the funny thing is that people walk in and go, wow, like this used to be a bedroom. I'm like, yeah, this is my gym. This
Mhm.
is where I work out. This is where I become me, is kind of
Yeah.
how I look at it. It's a me space.
Mhm.
Um, my husband uses it too, but mostly they call it my gym.
Yeah. I call
Lynn's
it my
gym.
happy place.
It is it is. It's my place that helps me. I know that if I miss it, I miss it. Like when I go away to somewhere for a week or two, I can't wait to get home to get into my gym. I can't because I know it's important to me. And I know that first week back, it's going to be brutal, but I have to, I'm committed. Like that's the thing, commitment and being, yeah, just doing it.
I love how many times you've come back from vacation and I've told you to go easy, and every time you just go ham right away, and then you complain. I'm like, Lynn, what did I tell you? You're like, I can't help myself.
I know. This is what I did before. You're like, yeah, but you've been gone away a month. I know, but I did this before. So, yeah. But
Your
I mean,
body needs a little bit of time.
exactly. But it took me about a week and then I was back.
Yeah.
Week and a half.
You just love it so much. You're
I
like, I
do.
just want to do it.
I love it. And I love, that's the other thing. If you join like a group fitness, you get to be motivated and motivate others. And then you see people who are a little bit stronger, a little bit can do a little bit of things, and that motivates you to become stronger and try to not outdo them, but match them. Or, I had a couple of women in my group that I loved working out with, and I miss them very much. And I do see them off and on, but I do miss that. Like, oh, like I would be picking up kettlebells and I'd look over and I'm like, oh, she's going heavier. I better go heavier.
Yeah.
It's like a,
Oh, I'm the same. Anytime I work out with friends, I never let anyone go heavier than me. As soon as they do, I'm like, well, I guess I'm lifting heavier then.
exactly. And it's not necessarily heavy. It's just like, oh, it's like, oh, last week I compare, okay, last week her and I were lifting the same and this week she's going heavier. So I think I better go heavier, because that's where we're at, kind of a thing.
Well, and especially as women, I think we so much second guess ourselves and our strength, and we so much underestimate what we're actually capable of.
Yeah.
So most of the time when you're lifting as a woman, you're probably lifting way less than you actually can.
Then you can. 100%. She's right. Trust me. She puts weights on you if she thinks you're not doing enough.
Well, you can see it because you move fast.
Yeah.
And like one of my clients right now, like I'm so proud of her because she's gotten to the point where all of her heavy lifts, like she's moving pretty slow. Like you can tell like she is pushing herself and it's a struggle. I'm like, you've gotten to that point where you understand how to actually push your body.
Yeah.
Whereas before everything was so fast. She would just zoom through it all. And I was like, let's slow it down a bit.
That was me. When I first started working out. It was like, how fast can I get it? Like I didn't care about form. And then when you came in, then I started really caring about form.
That's
wasn't
my
about
number one
speed.
thing.
But
Mhm.
and you'd come over and slow it down on the way down, slow, up fast on down. Okay,
It's
slow
not
it down.
just about burning as many calories as possible.
No, and I wasn't like that. I didn't care about calories. I mean, it's kind of fun to see how many you burn in a workout, but to me, it wasn't that. It was just like I just didn't want to fall behind because
Mhm.
you see the group moving ahead and doing the next thing, and you're sitting in the back going, "Oh no." But at the same time, when I first started, that's why I only did 2 push-ups instead of 10, because it was like I don't because we were doing more circuit training where you had to
Yeah.
go from spot to spot to spot. And I remember thinking, I don't want people waiting on me to get my thing done before we could go on. So once we changed to where we were all working out on our own, but you still had to keep a good pace. Then I could focus more and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I'm
been
like-
great. It's been a journey.
So much so.
I can't believe it's almost it's 3.5 years that I've been on this journey. And
Yeah. And like you're doing it on your own now, which is
Mhm.
probably one of my favorite things is like you don't have to work with me forever.
No,
Like we work together for a little bit, you learn some stuff, and then you have the confidence to do it on your own. Like so much of this is just a part of your life now.
yeah,
Just is so cool.
it's part of my routine.
And I love that so many of my clients just like become my friends.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I love it
like,
too.
We're
It's
just
been
buddies
awesome.
now.
Yeah, we go for walks, we go for hikes, we do other things. That was the other thing. When you get into group fitness, you don't just do stuff at the gym. We would go like
Yeah.
a bunch of us would go hiking, or some
That
people would
was
go
so
skiing,
fun.
doing some skiing, and
We did rock climbing.
yes, oh my goodness, rock climbing, you got to try it.
So much fun.
And trust me, I'm older and I loved it.
Yeah.
And it's
Then we had like you guys tried to see how many chin-ups I could do. and-
oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
still remember when you got your first chin-up.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I have that
yeah.
on video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was at the rock climbing place.
So cool.
I just started freaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I can do one. Let me try.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
And you did.
Yeah. Yeah. And being strong for women can mean different things. And to me, physical strong is great, but I think the mental strength has been my biggest achievement.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
I love how I said I wanted to keep my podcast short, but it never happens.
I'm
There's
sorry.
just so much to talk about. No, it's all amazing.
Yeah.
Like so much good stuff.
Mhm.
I really wish we could send this to every woman on the earth
Yes.
to hear this story.
Yes, 100%. And I went on a trip to Mexico with my aunt. And she's of course older than me. And I got her to do her first box jump on our trip because she would come in the gym with me and we would work out. And she was so scared because, older, they don't want to fall. And she could never just jump like that. And so I started literally with a 10-pound like weight, like the barbell weights, the 10-pound, the skinny ones, and I just got her to jump on that, and then I got her to jump, and then by the end she did the little blue box jump, and she was so proud of her, and I was just like, it's so great, like to work with other women. And I understand your passion for that, because
Mhm.
I've been able to do that for other
Yeah.
women too.
It's the best feeling. And the more of us who do this, like we're changing the world really, because we're affecting so many other women, and then they're gonna affect other women as
Yeah.
well, and then they're gonna affect like their daughters and like
Yeah, it doesn't just end with
happening.
you.
yeah. So
You're
cool.
just the beginning.
Yeah. I love this stuff so much.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. I think we'll probably end it there. I'm
Yeah.
sure we could talk for another like 3 hours.
Oh, I know.
But thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I love that you have like so many years of experience too. It's so interesting to hear from different perspectives
Mhm.
in people's journeys. And
Well,
yeah,
thanks for having me.
of course.
Thanks for having me. I was a little bit like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna say, but here we go.
Oh,
But
you had plenty to say.
yeah. No, when you told me what the topic, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can do this.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Confidence, that is who you've become.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is your story.
Thank you. You were a big part of that. A big part of that. Like you held me accountable for my thoughts, and I appreciated that. So
You put in the work. You didn't just say no.
I wanted to. Some days I said really bad things, but not to you, but like, oh, grumpy, especially in the mornings.
Okay, well, that is all for today. And yeah, I will. Oh, you have a private Instagram. I was gonna say I'll share you, but
I can unprivate it just for now.
okay. Well, I'll leave the link to you in the bottom so you
Sure.
guys can go cheer her on and watch her workouts and see how fun and strong and inspiring she is.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, and we will leave it there.
Sounds good.